Well, y'all, I'm devastated because once again, one of my favorite shows isn't coming back. But let's talk about exactly why Good Girls got the axe. Let's discuss. What's up, y'all? It's your boy Beasley here. Hope you all are staying cool, calm, and collected out there. I wanted to come with you guys and talk about one of my favorite shows on television by the name of Good Girls. Good Girls is a dramedy on NBC, and it's mainly like Desperate Housewives meets Set It Off. It's about three women who are all housewives. They basically, it started out robbing banks and robbing grocery stores in order to support their families, but later on it kind of dwelled into something a lot deeper. Now I briefly want to talk to you guys about the cast. First we have Christina Hendricks playing the character of Beth. Christina Hendricks, I never really followed her career. She's been in a lot of things, but I never really followed anything that she was in up until this show. She's even been in video games as well, but I just never really followed her career. She plays the main character of Beth. Beth is a housewife that later becomes a trap queen. And then we have the actress Mae Whitman. If you guys don't remember her, she was in that movie The Duff. She was the main character. She plays Beth's little sister by the name of Annie, who is a single mother who's very irresponsible, wayward, has a female to male transgender son, and she also works at a grocery store that they ended up robbing in the beginning. And then we have Retta. Retta, I believe, is either from The Office or Parks and Recreation. She plays the character Ruby, who also has a husband. I forgot the husband's name, but she has a husband who's a police officer, and she mainly needs the money to take care of her sick daughter. We have Matthew Leland as Dean. Matthew Leland, if you guys don't remember him, he was from the Scooby-Doo movie, and he's been in a lot of other roles as well. He's not that well known, but you've seen his face before. He plays Dean, which is Beth's husband, who is a confidant, but at the same time tends to get in the way of her plans as well, and ultimately kind of poses a threat later on. And then lastly, we have the main character, the reason this show has survived, and it's by the actor named Manny Montana. He plays the character Rio. If you guys don't remember Manny Montana, he was in Power, the very first episode of Power, the first person that Ghost and Tommy killed in the very first episode. That's where I remember him from. I don't think he was in anything else. Rio is the kingpin, the drug cartel, the spicy Latin love interest for Beth as well. Y'all, this man is something serious. Now, Good Girls, the show, was introduced to me on Netflix, where I personally feel like it should have stayed because they're allowed to be more graphic and actually use cuss words. But this show started out on Netflix, and then it later went to NBC, where it did thrive in the ratings. But I want to say, when the pandemic hit, now this is my personal opinion, when the pandemic hit, that's when the show took a hit. During that fourth season, the first half of the fourth season, you could tell the filming was very restrictive. A lot of characters were missing. The character Beth has 4 children. We only saw 3. I guess that was due to COVID restrictions as well. There was just a lot of things missing, and then the problem with the show is the plot just did not move forward at all. Throughout seasons 1, 2, and 3, these girls always kind of found themselves in the same predicament. The problem with this show was the main characters never learned anything. They never learned from their mistakes or their actions. It's like all 3 of these girls would be on the brink, multiple times on the brink of going to prison due to them either robbing or smuggling something across state or getting caught with doing petty theft. These girls would always get caught up by the police and the feds, but they would always get off somehow. These girls always found a way to get off. They each have a guardian angel. They have a guardian angel for all the crimes that they do. They never learn. They just revert back to doing what they were doing in the beginning. It's gotten to a point where characters even get arrested, they get off scot-free, and they still haven't learned their lessons. And then they also putting their own families in jeopardy as well. It was like a revolving circle of these girls just doing whatever they want with no remorse whatsoever for their actions, all for money. And also, for example, now this is kind of getting to spoiler territory. The characters Beth and Rio are the main love interests, but it's there's a wall between them. And it's because Beth cannot decide between having a normal life as a cookie cutter housewife or being a trap queen. And that decision is the main decision that peeps in her head constantly throughout the series without her actually coming to a final conclusion. To keep it all the way real, the character Dean should have been out the picture. Like, real talk, Dean should have been killed off like a long time ago. He should have been killed off probably like in season 2. They kept holding the plot back and reverting back to her, going back to her old life, but then still creeping back to being a trap queen. And it's just like, girl, Beth, make a decision. Like, what life do you want to lead? And she constantly goes back to Rio because that life gives her a thrill. Like, laundering money, printing money, being on like the wild side of like life. Like, being on the underbelly of crime turns the character Beth on to a climax position. Like, she gets off on being a criminal, but yet she can kind of like float in between both spaces of going back to her old life, and it's just like, no girl, you need to pick a side. And then another problem I have with the show is with the character Beth, even though she has a heart of gold, she really is the villain of the show when you really think about it. She's able to manipulate her little sister and her best friend into doing her bidding, and she also puts her husband on the line, his life on the line constantly without any remorse. Even though she does her best to bail him out, she still puts him back in the same predicament, and she has also even gotten to a point where she's put her children in danger as well. So the character Beth, it's like she portrays like she's the good guy, but really she's the main villain of the show. And Rio is the devil on her shoulder, and she tends to lean more towards him than Dean, which is the angel. Now, when it comes down to this show getting canceled, y'all, the real tea is they were good to go for a 5th season. They're kind of wrapping up the 4th season as we speak, but they were all signed on to do a 5th and final season with each of the cast members taking a pay cut. But all of that came to a screeching halt when the actor Manny Montana did not want to take a pay cut for the 5th and final season. Now, y'all, this is alleged, but the main reason why Manny Montana did not want to sign on for the final season is because he doesn't get along with the actress that he shares the most screen time with by the name of Christina Hendricks. Christina Hendricks and him, it's said that they have very silent tension. Like, they just do their lines and then they go on home. Like, there's no form of interaction between those two at all. And it makes me wonder what happened between those two to where they're just cold to each other. Like, that goes to show how talented they are because they have very, very good on-screen chemistry. Maybe, y'all, like the industry, I don't know what goes on in the industry because I'm not fully in it yet, but I will say when it comes to like a lead actor and actress, when they have these sex scenes, sometimes I think they can carry those feelings off screen, and then some things can happen, party and parlay. Now, I don't know if these two are like married or have significant others, but it just makes me wonder what could have happened between these two to where they don't get along at all. But y'all, at the end of the day, we're not getting a 5th and final season of Good Girls. This last season, honestly, the second half of this season is pretty good. They're really righting the wrongs and the mistakes that they made from the previous seasons, because I mainly blame the writers for them stretching out the plot of this show. Like, it got so repetitive like Walking Dead. Like, it was just like, okay, like, can we just drive this on? Like, where is this going? Even though it was entertaining, like, the shenanigans and the chicanery these girls did was very, very entertaining. And I was never really bored with this show. But at points, it was just like, where are we going next? Because it just kept reverting back to square one. Like, the character Beth continued to do a 360. Like, it just did not make any sense whatsoever. But I'm really, really gonna miss this show. I love this show. I don't really even watch TV that much like that unless it's like The Real Housewives. But this was the one show that got me to like watch on a weekly basis. And there's not really much scripted content for me to watch anymore, y'all. I mean, except for The Chi, and The Chi is very hit and miss. But overall, this show will be severely missed. It was well acted, well written at times, but definitely well acted. I hope everybody finds a job after this, and I hope everybody goes on and gets their blessings. But those are my views on the whole entire show, Good Girls. So be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'm going to come at you guys with some more content.